طيب بسم الله والحمد وعليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله على آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, and upon his family, upon all those that follow, upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ikhwan, everyone still with me? Jamilan. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, and upon his family, his companions, and upon all those who follow, upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. Proceed, ikhwan. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع، من قلب لا يخشع، ومن نفس لا تشبع، ومن دعاء لا يسمع. Verily, Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, from a heart that has no fear, and from a soul that has no satisfaction nor contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered, and from a dua that goes unanswered. To proceed, ikhwan, فلأصحاب الكتب فوصلنا بحمد الله إلى صفحة 130. So for those that have the book, we have arrived at page number 130. Page 130. طيب وتعلمنا بعض الكلمات. We have learned a few words بحمد الله. تعلمنا كلمة ناسبة. ناسبة. So we learned the word or the verb ناسبة. فسيس زكية ترجمي ناسبة. Translate the word ناسبة. To be suitable, to be appropriate. Allahu Akbar. Ahsanti. طيب شيخ نكير. كلمة دلة. كلمة دلة. The word دلة. دلة. ما شاء الله تلي. نعم. Point. أحسنت. طيب أبو زبير. كلمة فندق. 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 ما شاء الله hotel. جميلا. الحمد لله يا إخوان عندنا كلمات كثيرة. We have learned a lot of vocab بحمد الله. فندق. 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 A hotel. A hotel. فندق. طيب تعلمنا أيضا سعر. سعر. We also learned the plural of the word سعر. We learned the plural. سعر. من يترجم لنا هذا? Who can translate this for us يا إخوان? سعر. We learned the plural. We didn't have the mufrad, but we learned the plural. سعر. Whose turn? Sheikh Khalid. Tarjum, translate. طيب, the word سعر يا إخوان. Put your mute on يا إخوان. أكرمكم الله. Put your mute on until you speak. The word سعر is a price. سعر, a price. Put your mute on يا إخوان. Put your mute on يا إخوان. أكرمكم الله. Assalamu alaikum. Everyone put your mute on يا إخوان. طيب. So we learned يا إخوان the plural. No, everyone put their mute on يا إخوان. And then we
You will now be placed into the conference. Please press star to continue. There are 6 participants in the conference. Please announce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Everyone put their mute on يا إخوان. Can you see the screen يا إخوان still? I've lost everyone. So we're having some technical difficulties يا إخوان. So we'll try again inshallah ta'ala.
You will now be placed into the conference. Please press star to continue. There, announce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. طيب, can everyone see the screen, يا إخوان?
Yeah, we back. Alhamdulillah.
طيب. طيب, so we also learned the word, يا إخوان. سعر. 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 وتعلمنا الجمع, and we also learned this plural. أسعار. أسعار. Price. Prices. And a price. سعر. أسعار. طيب, وأيضا عندنا كلمة غرفة. We also have the word غرفة. غرفة. A room. بسم الله. والجمع غرف. And it's plural غرف. غرف. Rooms. A room. طيب. تعالى begin إن شاء الله يا إخوان. طيب, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فكنا نبين هذا الحوار ونشرح ونعلق على هذا الحوار. So the last class we were discussing this dialogue. We were discussing this dialogue. طيب, كلمة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طيب, the word or the sentence بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طيب. The Rahman and the Rahim. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. What's the meaning of Ar-Rahman here? What's the meaning of Ar-Rahman? Who remembers? طيب, the most merciful. نعم. أن هذه صفة ذاتي. That this is a description that is describing the that of Allah. Describing Allah Himself, not His action. You're describing Allah. And the Rahman, طيب, and the Rahim. ما معنى الرحيم? What does it mean الرحيم? طيب, so now you're describing Allah's mercy. You're describing His action. Ar-Rahman, He is the most merciful. Ar-Rahim, His mercy reaches all of His creation. So that's one way to understand it. What's another way, ikhwan? We mentioned three. Man yadhkur, who remembers? طيب أن الرحمن والرحيم بنفس المعنى. The second possibility is that they have the same meaning. Nothing different. وهو تأكيد, but it's showing emphasis, it's repeated. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the same meaning. In the name of Allah, or by the name of Allah, with the name of Allah, which is better than in the name of Allah. The most merciful, the most merciful. And the third way, remember us, the third way. And the Rahman, Am, Rahim, Khas. That the Rahman, طيب, that the Rahman is Khas and the Rahim is Am. That the Rahman is Allah's specific mercy and the Rahim is Allah's general mercy. Wallahu and Allah knows best. طيب وفائدة ثانية يا إخوان, another benefit. بعض النسوة يظنون أننا متشدد عليهن. Some of the women, they feel that we are a little too hard on the women in some of our examples. فأحيانا أعطيكم مثالا وأقول ربما المرأة أو ربما الأخت كذا وكذا. Sometimes in my examples I may give an example for the women. I might say, for example, a sister may or a woman may. وربما هذا يكون صعبا على بعض النسوة على بعض النسوة. And perhaps this is something that is hard upon some women when you give an example and you mention women. فأما أنا فعندما أمثل للنساء أمثل للرجال وإذا للرجال أمثل للنساء. So I just say, as for myself, for any of the sisters that may feel that way, anytime I give an example and I may mention the women, my next example is going to be the same for the men. Or if I mention the men, my next example, I'm going to mention the women. فأردت أن أخبر النساء بهذا ولا أريد أن أكون متشددا على أحد من الناس على أحد من الناس. So I wanted to remind the women of that, as we try not to be hard on no one, not the women. والحمد لله رب العالمين. طيب. الله الرحمن a hotel from or on the second floor. أفضل كلمة أفضل. أفضل, I, the speaker, prefer. أفضل, I prefer كذا وكذا. أفضل, I prefer. أفضل. أفضل. مررنا على هذه الكلمات. We learned this word before يا إخوان بحمد الله. طيب. قال إذن يناسبك الفندق الذي بجواري المطار. جملة جميلة. A beautiful sentence يا إخوان. إذن يناسبك الفندق الذي بجوار المطار. It says therefore or then. إذن then. The word إذن. إذن إذن then or therefore. إذن يناسبك يناسبك. انظر إلى الكاف. Look at this كاف here يا إخوان. يناسبك. يناسبك. It is suitable for you. The kaf goes back to you. The kaf يعود إلى أنت. The kaf goes back to أنت. The kaf goes back to أنت. يناسبك. It says يناسبك الفندق. الفندق. طيب بعض الناس يظنون أن الكاف الفاعل. لا. Some of the readers, some of the brothers, they think that the kaf is the doer. لا. The kaf is the مفعول به. يناسبك الفندق. The فندق is the فاعل, is the doer. The فندق is the doer, not the kaf. الفندق هنا الفاعل. The فندق is the doer. الفندق is the doer. يناسبك. The فندق is suitable for you. And then he describes the فندق. يناسبك الفندق. It is appropriate for you. What's appropriate for you? The hotel. الذي بجوار المطار. The hotel that or which is next to or adjacent to the airport. الذي بجوار المطار. That or which is adjacent or next to المطار, the airport. بجواري, next to, on the side of. بجواري, بجواري المطار, on the side of the airport. المطار, adjacent, next to. Next to or adjacent to المطار, the airport. فائدة ثالثة, another benefit, third benefit. هذه المثال أو هذا المثال يمكن المؤلف أن يخبرنا عنه ب وبدون ب. Here, this example, the author could have mentioned the same example with the word ba, with the ba, or without the ba. He could say bi jawari, or you can say jawara, jawara, mansub. You can say bi jawari, or you can take away the b, the ba, and just say jawara. With the b or without the b. You can use the ba, or you can take away the ba and keep it mansub as a dharf, as it's a pronoun, a preposition. You say, for example, Ain al-kitab, where's the book? You say, for example, book. You say, al-kitab, Ain al-kitab, and there should be a kaf. Ain al-kitab, where's the book? Where's the book? والسامع يقول, and the one who is listening, they say, الكتاب بجوار الكرسي. الكرسي. The one who is listening says the book is on the side of the chair. On the side of the chair. The book is on the side of the chair, or next to the chair, adjacent to the chair. So you can use the ba, or you can take away the ba. Al-kitabu jawara al-kursi. You can also say al-kitabu jawara without the ba. Without the ba. So they could also say al-kitabu jiwara al-kursi without the ba. انتبهوا هنا. So pay attention there. You can use the ba, or you can take away the ba. It's up to you. And it's like that with a lot of dharf, a lot of prepositions of place and time. Wow, تفضل.
جوار ظرف مكان.
جوار ظرف المكان. نعم. Like أمام, خلف, جنب, جوار, in front of, behind, on the side of, تحت, below. Accent. Like if you say, for example, أنا أقابلك, I'll meet you. أنا طيب أنا أقابلك في العصر. You say, أنا أقابلك في العصر. I'll meet you at عصر. أقابلك في العصر. Meet you at عصر. I'll meet you at عصر, meaning in the عصر time. the time of Asr, meaning at the after or in the afternoon, rather. Anytime in the Asr. When the Asr begins, when the afternoon begins, I'll meet you. Inshallah. And you can also take away the fee. Same example, take away the fee. And just make it mansub. This with almost all of the roof. You say, Ana uqabiluka asran. Asran. I'll meet you at Asr. I'll meet you in the afternoon. Asran. There's nothing to the meaning. It's just you can use it one way, and you can use it another way. Similar to إلا الله. ما معنى هذه الكلمة؟
لا معبود بحق إلا الله.
لا معبود بحق إلا الله. It means, as our brother says, لا معبود بحق إلا الله. That there's nothing that deserves to be worshipped or nothing that is worshipped in truth. Buddha بحق besides Allah or except Allah. Is this the only way you can say this meaning? Is the only way in the Arabic language?
Well, I've seen it written some other ways. I don't think it's the only way you can write it. I've seen it written in other places different than this.
Our brother says no, there are other ways. How many madhabs? This is the only way? Or you agree with Abu Zubayr? There's other ways. Whoever are students of the Arabic language, ikhwan, grammatically, is this the only way you can say this, or are there other ways grammatically in the language?
If you just use that linguistically, there's no God but Allah. Linguistically, it's not the meaning, but linguistically, now.
No, this is the meaning. I mean, when I say in the language, I mean grammatically, not as far as the meaning. This is the Islamic meaning. In the language, there's another meaning. There's no God but Allah. But Islamically, it means la ma'bud bihaqqin. The word is not there. You add that. That's in the legislation. That's not the language. In the language, bihaqqin is mentioned. There's no bihaq. La ilaha illallah. Now, in the Islamically, you add bihaq, because the intent is not a linguistic intent. The intent is an Islamic intent. But I mean, in the grammatically, is there other ways? Are there other ways to say this, or is this the only way? We learn something or we see something and we think that's the only way. Yes, that's what I learned. Okay, just because you learned it doesn't mean that there's no other ways. Remember, ikhwan, sometimes on our level, the scholars may give us one way or two ways. Not that they're the only two ways, but to make it easy. We're beginners, most of us. 10-year Muslims, 5-year Muslims, 12-year Muslims. Beginner. طيب I give you a benefit يا إخوان. Look at the ba. Look at the اسم مجرور and the حرف جار. You can also say لا معبود حق. Take away the ba. إلا الله. Same meaning. Just take away the حرف جار. لا معبود حق إلا الله. Allahu Akbar. It's another way. You can also say لا معبود يستحق عبادة إلا الله. You can also say لا معبود حقا إلا الله. There are many ways يا إخوان. The point is, in the Arabic language, sometimes you can say something in a variety of ways, and they're all correct. طيب. And this is one of the gems, or one of the beauties of studying Arabic, that it humbles you. It teaches you there are multiple ways that you can say stuff. Allahu Akbar. Even in Quran, there are 10 different ways you can recite. Some scholars say 7, some say 10. The 7, muttafiqun alayh. All of the scholars agree. The 3 that equal 10, the scholars differ. Not every mashaykh from Tajweed accepts that. Wa alaikum salam. So they differ. At any rate, that happens, ya ikhwan. طيب, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Then the author continues. He says, Ata'ani funduqa as-sadaqa. He says, do you mean the hotel of sadaqa, the hotel of friendship? There's a hotel that has the name funduqa as-sadaqa, the hotel of friendship. That's the title. طيب, هذه الكلمة جديدة وجميلة. This word is new and is very beautiful, ya ikhwan. Familiarize yourself with this word. The word is ana. Ana. This word is from Fusha. Ana. It has a meaning. Ana. And the Mudari, ya'ani. Many of us, when we can't think of a word and we say yani, 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 technically we're almost saying a word in the Arabic language. And this word is this, ana. It means to mean. Or you can say to intend. To mean is better. To mean. You say, for example, أنعلمك سورة الحمد. I say to you, for example, أنا أعلمكم سورة الحمد. I say, I'm going to teach you, inshallah, the chapter of Al-Hamd. Surah Al-Hamd. Surah Al-Hamd. He doesn't understand. What do you mean, Surah Al-Hamd? He says, what do you mean, Surah Al-Hamd? So he says, Ata'ani Surah Al-Fatiha. So he says, Ata'ani Surah Al-Fatiha. Says, Ata'ani, do you mean? That's how you use it. do you mean? It means a mean. أتعني سورة الفاتحة. He says, do you mean Surah Al-Fatiha? So it means to mean. Ana. That's actually a verb. Ana. To mean. One of the sisters speaking, and one of her companions don't stand. So she says, Anina al-hadith kada wa kada. And she says, do you mean the hadith that's in Bukhari? She says, Na'am. Yes. So the verb ana, very eloquent. Learn this verb, ya ikhwan. Ana, to mean. To mean. You're given a class. And then you say, A'ani ya ikhwan. What I mean is, my brothers and sisters, is such and such and such and such. Ana. And the madari, you say, Ya'ani. He means. Ta'ani. She means. من لا يفهم هذه الكلمة, who does not understand this word يا إخوان. أنا. My brother says وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام يا أخي في الله. طيب واصل. Let's continue. He says أتعني فندق الصداقة. Do you mean the فندق الصداقة? The فندق of the hotel of friendship? He says نعم. Yes. فأسعاره مناسبة وغرفه واسعة. He says yes, meaning yes what? Hey, yes, I intend that hotel. Yes. For its prices, munasibatun, are suitable. They're not expensive. They're not cheap. It's suitable. It's appropriate. وَغُرَفُهُ وَاسِعَةٌ. And its rooms are wide, are spacious. Its rooms are wide and spacious. طيب فائدة يا إخوان. With regards to the al-mu'annath, the feminine word. If the word مثلا al-jami' is a plural, إلى al-aql, and it goes back to something that has an intelligence, then they agree in number. But if the thing goes back to غير aql, then you don't have to use the jami'. You can use the mufrad and make it feminine. And it's kind of tricky, and you can do both ways. For example, al-muslimatu al-jamilatu. MashaAllah. Al-jamilatu. The beautiful or the pretty Muslim. Maybe she's pretty, alhamdulillah. Al-muslimatu al-jamilatu. the pretty or the beautiful Muslim, meaning female Muslim. طيب الجميلة صفة. جميلة is the صفة. المسلمة مؤنثة والجميلة مؤنثة. مسلمة is feminine, جميلة is feminine. مسلمة مفردة, جميلة مفردة. مسلمة is singular, جميلة is singular. So they agree in gender, they agree in number. Feminine, feminine. Singular, singular. طيب. Now plural. الجمع. المسلمات. الجميع. They agree. طيب. المسلمات. Plural. جمع. الجميلات. جمع. Plural. مسلمات مؤنثة. جميلة مؤنثة. المسلمات جمع. الجميلات جمع. So they agree in gender, they agree in number. طيب. But if the thing goes back to something that does not have an intelligence, it goes to an animate object or animate object that does not have an intelligence. So now we're going to نغير مسلمات لشيء آخر. Let's change the word Muslim or Muslimat for another word. طيب. البيوت, the houses. طيب. الجميلات. طيب. البيوت. الجميلات. طيب. The beautiful houses. البيوت جمع is the plural. الجميلات is the plural. But there's another way you can do it, because it's going back to something that does not have an intelligence. You keep the sifa in the singular, but you make it feminine. You can also do that. So you can say al-buyutu jamilatu. You keep it singular, but you make it feminine because it's ghayru aql. It does not have an intelligence. You can do both. The thing goes back to something that does not have an intelligence. You keep it singular, but you make the thing feminine. I did in the example. He says,
can you also do like animals?
Animals have the aql. No, that's a good question. No, you can do it with animals. Yes, that's correct. Our center, you can do it with animals. No. So if it is not going back to a human, if it's going back to animals, you can do that. And it's the tricky thing with Arabic. Some rules can be broken.
Something like the beautiful dogs.
You can say that. Al-kilabu al-jamilatu. First, let's keep it singular. Al-jamilatu. Because dogs is the plural. So you can keep it singular and just make it feminine. You can do that. You can also say al-kilabu al-jamilatu. Or al-jumalu will be more honorable. Al-jumalu. Al-kilabu al-jumalu. And here we could have said al-jamilatu. We can also say al-jumalu. Also, as that's another plural of jamila. So if the thing goes back to something, that's an object. You can do two ways. You can keep the plural, or you can make it singular but make it feminine. Like in this sentence here. Look at the sentence here, ikhwan. فَأَسْعَارُهُ مُنَاسِبَةٌ. Ar is the plural. Munasibatun is singular. But made it feminine because as'ar is the plural. Likewise, وَغُرَفُهُ, its rooms. هذا جمع, that's a plural. واسعة مفرد ولكنها مؤنثة. واسعة is singular, but they made it feminine. So the easy thing is to practice with one first. Don't jump right into sometimes saying this way and sometimes saying it that way. You may confuse yourself. Sometimes practice with just one. Make it easy on yourself. And then once you become familiar with that, it becomes easy for you. Now you change it up. Like when you're learning dua, you have three ad'iyah, but you're not mutamakkin. You're not really grounded in them. You make mistakes in them. So just say one until you become mutamakkin in it. And now you have it, alhamdulillah. Now say the second one. The man sneezes. What do you say when you sneeze, ikhwan?
Alhamdulillah.
He says, Alhamdulillah. Oh yeah. And there's another dua that you all know of. You can also say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. That comes in authentic hadith. Oh yeah. Rabbil Alameen. But suppose the person doesn't have a good memory. I can say this and that. Yes. But they make mistakes. They jam it up. Okay. For a week, every time you sneeze, just say Alhamdulillah. Every time you sneeze, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Have that down. The next week, you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now you have them both down. Now you can switch up as you wish. You can switch up as you wish. In the Al-Jalsatul Istiraha, Al-Jalsatu, Alif Lam, Jalsatu Al-Istiraha. What position is this, ikhwan? Jals in the Salah. Jalsatu Al-Istiraha. Where is this at? Who remembers? Huh? After A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem? After Allahu Akbar? Or after Ruku'? Who remembers? Shaykh Khalid, tfadal.
No, it's Jalsa. So I was asking between the two prostrations. Between two prostrations, huh?
Between the two prostrations. Naam, that's correct. The sitting of rest. Relaxation. Okay. So this comes between as-sajdatain. Between the two prostrations. So there's some dua you can say there. And they're different. They mean the same. Say the person learns. What's one easy one, ikhwan? He says, Rabbi ghfirli. Rabbi ghfirli. It's an easy. Oh, Akbar. It makes it easy. Rabbi ghfirli. Rabbi ghfirli. Oh, my Lord, I ask that you forgive me. So he learns this one. Rabbi Gfirli, Rabbi Gfirli, Rabbi Gfirli. Alhamdulillah. For a whole week, he says that. Rabbi Gfirli, Rabbi Gfirli. And then you teach him another one. He may say, Allahumma hdini wa afini warzuqni waghfirli. Alhamdulillah. And then he becomes mutamakkin in that. There's another one. Like in the ruku' in the sujood. You don't learn 10 dua in the same sitting unless you have a tremendous memory. But usually you learn one. You say it, you understand it, you get used to it, and then you learn another. So you don't jumble them up. You don't fumble them up. You become mutamakkin. Like memorizing Quran. No one memorizes at the same time. Nobody's going to learn 2 chapters of Quran at the same time. No. Because you can jumble them up. You make mistakes. And recite this ayah out of place. And this verse out of place. So you learn the first surah. And before you go on to the next surah, you become mutamakkin in it. You have to be firm. You have to be grounded. For example, you learn the surah. Now recite the surah 10 times without making a mistake. You make a mistake, it doesn't count. You make a mistake again, it doesn't count. You recite it 1 time, no mistakes, that's 1. 2 times, no mistakes, 2. Your 3rd one, mistake, doesn't count. Your 4th one, you make another mistake, doesn't count. If you can say times without making a mistake, then most likely you have it. Some scholars say no, 50 times, 75 times. Allahu Akbar. We make it easy. 10 times. If you can say the surah 10 times, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. That's 1. Alhamdulillah. Go back. Say it again. Alhamdulillah. Go back. Alhamdulillah. Go back. You can say it 10 times without making a mistake. Then you have it. Okay, now you go to the next surah. You learn this surah. You have it? Yes. Let me hear you say it 10 times. Alhamdulillah. And this is how you want to be. The point is not that you memorize. No. You want to be a memorizer. You don't want to make more mistakes than your corrections. You want to be mutamakkin. You want to be raun. A word. You want to be rasikhun. You want to be rooted. Rasikh. You want to be mutamakkin. Mutamakkin. Grounded. You got it. Mutamakkinun. Grounded. Rooted. This is knowledge. You memorize the book, but you make more mistakes than corrections. You didn't memorize. You have to go back. Grounded in it. And now you're rasikh. Now you're mutamakkin. Now you have it. So now you go on to the next book. You have the hadith. Yes, but every time you recite it, you make a mistake. So learn it again. And you become mutamakkin. Sikhan fil ilm. You want to be grounded in the knowledge. Not I think is this, I think is that. No, you have to keep going over it. And this comes with repetition. This is the benefit of making the muraja'ah. You always have to find time in anything you're memorizing. You break it up into parts. You're memorizing hadith. Hadith. Let's say you're memorizing Riyadh al-Salihin, one of the best books you're ever going to study, by Imam al-Nawawi. Riyadh al-Salihin. Gardens of the Righteous. Allahu Akbar. Look at the title. Riyadu al-Salihin. Gardens of the Righteous. Right. So you have to break the book down. One part of your day is for your new hadith. Another part of the day is to go over the hadith you already learned. So you learn one hadith. Then you learn 2. Then you learn 5. Now you have 10 hadith under your belt. The more hadith you learn, the more difficult it is to make the review. That's in everything. The more vocabulary words you learn, the harder it is to go back over them. It's too many. You got to break it down. The more the harder it is to review. So now you have 10 ahadith. Allahu Akbar. But you're still memorizing the new ahadith. You have to always find time for the old ahadith, so you don't forget them. And some parts of your day, when you have a great number, your review is going to be greater than what you learn. Now you have, mashallah, 200. Oh, just say you review 50 hadith a day. That's good. So in 4 days, you went over all those hadith. Just say you do 10, 20, whatever you do. You always have to go over your old information to make it fresh and still find time for the new. The best ways to do that is to find someone to teach, to listen to the hadith being recited. Find someone to read on you. You want to be strong in the Quran? Then listen to Quran. Have your husband, your wife, your child, your companion, your neighbor, someone read Quran over you. Alhamdulillah. So those that you have learned, you're listening to them, refreshing. Allahu Akbar. You want to memorize hadith? Find someone to read hadith on you. It helps you tremendously, ikhwan. Circles of knowledge where we're just reviewing. For the sisters, this sister is 3 hadith. Say you have 5 women learning Riyadh al-Salihin. Alhamdulillah. And then one day they all get together and just review. MashaAllah. That stuff we don't do no more. We can talk about each other and we can refute each other and we can backbite each other. But who's going to benefit from each other? Who does that? Calls their brother, Assalamu alaikum. He doesn't want nothing from him. You don't owe me any money, nothing. I just read some hadith on me. I'm learning this book. Yes. All I want you to do is read 10 hadith. That's it. And then I'm going to read them from my memory. If I make a mistake, you correct me. Alhamdulillah. We don't do that no more, ya ikhwan. No one benefits from no one no more. Our masajid are empty. Our class empty. Our jumu'ah are empty. Everyone's a sheikh. All of the women are shuyukh. All of the brothers are shuyukh. How do we become shuyukh when we don't study? How? Everyone's a scholar already without studying anything. When our masajid are empty. Fajr, you go to the average masjid in America. If it's not an Arab masjid, when I say Arab masjid, I mean a masjid that has predominantly Arabs. Or if it's not an African masjid. When I say African masjid, I mean most of the people are African. Because they go to the Allahu Akbar, the Africans. They pray in Jama'ah, in the cold, in the Allahu Akbar. And so do the Arab. They pray together, Allahu Akbar. But us, you go to the average African American masjid. Choose. I won't say no names. I won't say no cities. That's not my point. You choose the city. You choose the masjid. You choose. Most likely, their fajr is empty. Most likely. Most of our masajid, no one prays there. Except on Jumu'ah. And then Jumu'ah, jam-packed. Allahu Akbar. The Fajr, the Dhuhr, the Maghrib, the Isha, we're the Musallun. You name the masjid. You name it. I won't say no names. That's not my intent. That's not the point. The point is the action. Look at the classes. Most of the time, the only one that's in the class is the one doing the class. And maybe his family. Allahu Akbar. His children, her children. Alhamdulillah. Maybe two brothers, maybe two in the back. Alhamdulillah. But usually, our masajid are empty, ikhwan. Everyone's a scholar already. And may Allah help us, ikhwan. Alright, we'll stop there, ikhwan, for homework. I want you to write out. We read the passage. I want you to write out the passage 3 times. And we'll continue with the explanation of it, inshallah, in the next class. You're going to write out this one paragraph 3 times, inshallah ta'ala. And we'll stop there, inshallah, ya ikhwan. فَإِنْ أَصَبْتُ فَمِنْ اللَّهِ وَإِنْ أَخْطَأْتُ فَمِنْ نَفْسِي. Anything that we said that's correct is from our Lord. Anything that we said is incorrect is from ourselves. جزاكم الله خيرا وأكرمكم الله تعالى والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
For our brothers on the Facebook, that will conclude tonight's lesson. And we'll continue at a later date, inshallah ta'ala.